Hey, I'm calling out Gncc right here. They're pussies. This track is for men, and we are breeding women in America.
Watch out, watch out, watch out! Ah, get the fuck out of the way! What you think?
This is Terra Inferno.
I'm just gonna be launching the bike and picking it back up.
Just launch it straight off.
Launch it through this bamboo shit.
If the bike makes it, you can just go walk and pick it
Yeah,
up.
just go walk and pick it up. If I'm not on the bike and it cuts the track, I technically didn't cut the track. The bike cut the track and I'm just following the bike.
I'm feeling like my confidence is going a little higher.
There's no light.
The more that I drink this Red Bull.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Guys, clear some rocks if you can.
You're welcome.
Get some of these rocks out of here.
Track's wide open now.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Oh, up and then left.
Oh, so you could go up.
Had a chance after yesterday, making it through yesterday, not a chance now. This poor guy, they lent me this bike.
Yeah, I feel bad for everybody whose bikes these are.
Stu said that he fell down one of the coral hills yesterday, and the trick is to roll.
Oh, okay.
He had no shirt on.
I had that on video on my GoPro, but I lost it on.
Him going down?
Yeah.
What happened to your GoPro?
Somehow, it made me update the app, and it lost all my footage.
No.
I swear.
That guy knows
You
tough.
just said it's gonna be tough. From his mouth, I'm like, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
And then he left
Well,
the
and then
country.
left.
Literally left.
I'm leaving this country.
We'll definitely do the gnarliest shit I've ever ridden on.
What's the bet for 1 lap completion for Ron?
Is that it? We're just gonna go for Ron completing 1 complete lap? I think that'd be a good goal.
I've not even seen it, but from what I've seen, yeah.
I think if I can complete 1 lap, let's all go for that.
Okay.
If I can complete it under 6 or 9 minutes.
No, you ain't making.
Not happening.
69
happening.
minutes.
Not
You
happening.
have 1 hour.
69 minutes maybe.
69 minutes? How much do you think?
That's the
69
bet.
minutes to make 1 lap.
That's the bet.
Really?
It's only 1
How long
mile
is it?
American.
It's only 1 mile.
It's like
American?
1.3 of
69
those.
minutes to make 1 mile?
Yeah.
What do I win?
I'll have a beer, cold beer for
A
you.
beer! Oh, that's my favorite. That's exactly what I wanted to win. And I just finished this one. I'm gonna need another one. Perfect. All right, that's a good bet.
What do you think about the safety level of this series?
Yeah, it's not good. Not
On a
good.
level of 1 to not
told you,
good,
I
it's
wanted
full of
bubble
not
wrap
good.
and pillows to wrap around me on this damn.
Don't
whole
worry,
thing.
dude. Look, there's coral. It'll stop you.
That's what I really am stoked about. Is like, not only is this the most dangerous technical shit I've ever ridden, but then when you fall on fucking basically nails, coral.
It's like sandpaper, but with spikes.
Yeah, ask Taylor Roberts. He did a good job yesterday.
Broke his thumb, right?
Yeah, we're
among
knocking
other
you
things.
out.
So Ron, you come up here, and you got this this coral tabletop, and you can probably triple step down. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it looks perfect. Looks dangerous as fuck. Sign me up.
Yeah, I think you could even do a loop out backflip right here by accident. Just hold on.
I do this thing called the air wheelie. That's a lot more complicated than backflip. Cause it's like I'm doing a backflip, but then I bring it back, and nobody can bring it back other than me.
You know what's really cool though? Here you could actually do the endo because it's vertical on the other side, so you could be probably beyond.
I think I'm gonna go for the triple front flip right here.
Yeah. Well, if you get one, you'll probably get the next 2.
Screw Duffy, man. He don't know shit about front flipping until he sees me go down a hill.
Well, he's got 2. I think you can probably get 3 or 4 before you hit the tree at the
6 or
bottom.
9 before I hit the tree,
yeah,
man.
all right,
Come
looking
on,
good.
let's get it straight.
Watching people die, waiting for your turn to flip the cliff and die. So it's gonna be phenomenal though. I'm looking forward to it, I really am. The rice was phenomenal as well. Did you get that over there? Guys cooking rice in the jungle. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is where we're at.
Lap things will look a little bit different. Okay, and if you need to go to the pits, it's a ways off, but you can go there if you need to. You shouldn't. All bikes should be able to do 1 hour, 15 minutes, right? But if you do have to, I'd like to walk it with you so you know where to go, okay? All right, come with me.
Walk this way.
Are you kidding me?
I don't fucking play this.
God. I'll tell you what, dude. We all look like you by the end of this fucking lap. The way you look.
Ain't no berm blast out here. Ain't no berms out here.
No berms to blast.
Just show you.
Sad story, man. Some rocks. Kick a rock with my toe, stub my toe on these rocks. God damn it.
Hey, just simple as Big Buck, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it's so sick.
They really need to step up the bike only sections.
No doubt.
They're getting soft in America.
It's too wide.
Hey, I'm calling out Gncc right here. They're pussies. This track is for men, and we are breeding women in America.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in? Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Tuesday, April the 29th, 2025, years after zero, and you are joining us just in time for another episode of OTP Tuesday. That is right. On the Pipe Podcast right here, presented by Yamaha USA. The Blue Crew, baby. That's what revs our heart over here at OTP. And you get you a Yamaha, and trust me, it's going to rev the heck out of your heart, too. What we were just watching on screen, first of all, thanks for the intro, Justin Hill. I forget to mention that from time to time, but Justin Hill, the former 250 West Supercross champion, is the guy behind our intro, along with our former and current, or I guess, co-founder of OTP, Devin Byram on the drums, Justin Hill on the guitar. They made the intro music specifically for this podcast. That's pretty cool. But the video that you were watching, if you were watching live now on YouTube, or I guess after the fact on YouTube, that was from the Terra Inferno Hard Enduro that happened down at the Dominican Republic, put on by Ryan Sipes and Travis Pastrana. I stumbled upon all that footage the other day, and I forgot how funny it is. Like, there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that race. And since there was a big hard enduro right down the road from us here in North Carolina, we had to put that one on there just to ramp it up. It's still playing a little bit here, but you can go back, find that video on our YouTube channel. Really cool. A hard enduro on coral reef through the jungle in the Dominican. Pretty crazy experience, and it was cool to see. So yeah, had to dig that one out of the archives because this past weekend was the Battle of the Goats. There was an Ngpc going on the other side of the country, and there's some local racing going on our side of the country. So we're going to talk about all those results. We're going to talk about Gncc this weekend. We're going to talk about everything else that happens to come up, including your questions that you can put in the YouTube chat right now. But right now, joining us for OTP Tuesday is our buddy and Battle of the Goats competitor, Big Rig Craig.
Not much competing, but I was there.
How'd it go? Well, we'll get into it, but what's on the elevator pitch? How'd it go?
It was good. Didn't get hurt. Finished, so it's cool. Definitely. I always said I wanted to do one, and now I say I'll never do another one. But it was cool.
Yeah.
So wild.
The first hard enduro I ever did was Battle of the Goats, and I realized pretty quick why they call it hard enduro, because it's not easy.
It's hard.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
And you happen to get a little dose of my treatment of pro riders catching you on camera looking like goons.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, not my best moment ever caught on film, but whatever. Take it on the chin.
You had the Josh Toth Arrive and Ride program, didn't you?
Yeah, we can go into that too. It was Friday night. Got a phone call. said, hey, you busy tomorrow? I said, no, not really. You want to go ride? Yeah, I just bought this bike on Marketplace. You want to race it in the morning? Be there at 7. I was like, son of a bitch. So he bought a 2015 250 XCW, and it just happened to have a tubeless and happened to have a Shinko cheater tire, and didn't do a thing to it.
That's all you need.
Yep.
Good to go.
All good.
So we're going to get into Battle of the Goats. We're going to talk about what was happening, what was going on out there. But first, we're going to dig up some results courtesy of Dimmer's Precision Grading, DPG. The next full gas round is happening not this coming weekend, but the following weekend at the DPG compound. So go out there, check it out. Hopefully, we'll be out there and racing. That's the plan out at the DPG compound. But anyway, dimmersprecisiongrading.com. Grading jobs, big or small, they can help you out and get it done. Grading, excavation, land clearing, the whole gamut you can find out there. So now, courtesy of DPG, we're going to dig up some results. We're going to talk about what is going on all the way across the country. We'll start things out. We'll pull up our results from Mid-East. Hare scrambles. Might as well start there. So we got it on screen here, and taking the win down at the Coyote Run Mid-East Hare Scramble. For those that don't know, we're getting a lot of new followers on here. New people find us. Guys like Underfoot didn't know we existed. Get on here and listen a little bit. So, I'm the announcer for the Mid-East Hare Scramble series, so I'm at all of them. Obviously on the mic, talking about what is going on, getting to see the racing action firsthand. And let me tell you something, them Johnson boys, they are hard to beat when you come out to a Mid-East Hare Scramble, and it proved to be the case once again. Brody Johnson goes out there, takes the win over big brother Jonathan Johnson, and Ryder Lafferty ended up taking the third place spot on the day. And a lot of back and forth racing between Brody and Jonathan. They both led different parts of the race. They were both swapping back and forth, going into the white flag lap. Jonathan made the pass on Brody coming into scoring, then Brody passing back right after scoring, and they raced down to the wire for that $1,200 payday out at the Mid-East Hare Scramble. Lawrence, South Carolina, got a little bit of rain Friday night, a little bit soupy. The track opened up, a lot of different lines, a lot of ruts digging in. It is a new property. We raced there for the first time last year, so this is the second time racing on the property. So with that little bit of rain, it got deep, but the dirt ended up being really good by the end of the weekend. But at that point, a little bit of the damage had been done. Some lines opened up. Like I said, it got deep, it got rough, and so it was a battle down to the wire. Good old-fashioned hare scramble between the Johnson brothers. But Brody Johnson would cash in the big check in the center of the box. Talked to him before the race, and I said, "You going to win today or what?" He said, "I have to. I don't have any money, so I need to win." So he went out there and did that. Jonathan Johnson still got $800 for his effort. Ryder Lafferty $500 with a third-place finish. And all three of those guys lapped all the way up to 7th place. So they lapped the AA class, which starts on the road directly behind them. So, and the way that the payouts work in the AA, you got to stay on the lead lap of your class leader. So then we were sitting there thinking about it. It's like, man, what if they catch second and third, don't catch the winner, then second and third don't get paid. Only the winner gets paid. But they ended up getting all of them, and so all the AA class got paid. So shout out. Got to start giving some pit boards to maybe move some money around, see how bad they want it. But no, it was a good race, good battles between those guys. Ryder Lafferty coming out and coming on strong as well. Caleb Baltimore in 4th. Colton Shields rounds out your top 5. Ethan Harwell, 6th place. And big shout out here, Colby Goodman. He is 14 years old, which I didn't realize that he was that young. Like, I saw him in the youth races, saw him move up. Most of the time that happens around 15, 16. Colby Goodman, 14 years old, on a streak of top 10 finishes at the Mid-East. And, I mean, dude, Mid-East, it's no slouch. It's good competition. A lot of good racing out at Mid-East. But Colby Goodman, the only non-pro bike that was on the lead lap.
Top Yamaha, too.
Top Yamaha. Blue Crew, baby. That's why he's so good. Got the 151 Yamaha out there. But no, 14 years old. I think he got a 5th at one of the last races. Maybe not a 5th. Definitely top 10.
And he didn't get lapped, and he was A-Open 2-stroke. That's the row behind AA, I believe, too.
Well, there's AA, and then there's 30-plus AA. And then...
Oh, yeah, AA Elite.
Yeah. So I'm not sure which A-Class comes on the next row. So I don't know if he was the first A-Class row or if he wasn't.
That's sick.
But either way.
Yeah, I mean, but he's so he passed all the AA elite, passed AA, and then must have been physically ahead of TJ Brown, and that's sick. 14 years old, ripping.
Yeah, to be able to stay on the lead lap, pretty impressive run by Colby Goodman out there. So the next Mid-East race, a little bit of a weird situation. We're not racing at Mid-East again for another month. So we got GNCC this weekend. Everyone's off on Mother's Day. And then we got another GNCC. And then we go back Mid-East racing. And that Mid-East race will be on the same property as Coyote Run. Guy owns 1,100 acres down there. So start line's going to be the same. Finish line's going to be the same. But there's a whole section across the creek that we didn't even touch. And so it's going to be all brand new trails. You'll basically ride the start down to the creek, get over the creek, and it'll be a completely new track down there at the same property, which is pretty cool. So a lot of campers got left there over the weekend just to stay and hang out till the next one.
Sick.
But it's a good property. So now we'll head out to the West Coast with the Ngpc series that happened out in... Where was that race at? Fox Raceway. I knew that. Everyone knew that. Duh.
Dude, every time I see these, I expect there to be woods racing, but it's not. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I was like, man, where's the woods at Fox Raceway? I've been there, and there's no trees. No trees.
Yeah, I didn't get to see any of the live feed or check out the track. But these seem like big motocross races.
Dude, that kind of makes sense because I've seen, I guess it 100% makes sense because I've seen videos of Mason riding moto over the weekend. Oh, he's racing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he's at Fox. He was.
He
just
was.
racing.
Ngpc, that big old number 1 plate of Dante Oliveira goes out and takes the win once again. Dare DiMartil in the number 2 spot, and Giacomo Ridondi would end up taking the final podium spot. So KTM Beta Cowie on your Pro Class podium. And taking the win in the Pro 2 class, 5th place overall, was Mason Simmons, the guy we were just talking about, the 1X, the 250 reigning champion. Samuel Pretschar would get the number 2 spot, and rounding out the top 3 was Kai Aieo. So that is your top 3 pro riders, top 3 Pro 2 riders. We'll scroll down here and see if we can find our pro women's riders and see how they shook up. Taking the pro women's class win, Michaela Nielsen getting it done over the second place rider of Ava Silvestri, where we can find, should be somewhere up in here. Oh, right here. So Michaela Nielsen, 23rd overall, Ava Silvestri, 25th overall, and then taking the final podium spot for the women's pro class. Did I miss somebody?
Madison Weber.
Or was it Madison Weber? Oh, I saw Ty Woolslayer down here. So Madison Weber grabbing the final podium spot. Now,
Cody Simpson, top Yamaha.
There we go. Hey, I like this. I like we're pointing them out. Top finishing Yamahas out there on the West. So I don't think that the Yamaha team has a factory supported team out west. I've been doing some digging, trying to do some research. I don't think that they do have a factory supported Yamaha team out west.
I don't know either. It looks like his sponsors that shows Blue Crew and some other stuff. So probably like a private team.
Yeah,
that he's got going on.
I think they like support some riders, but it's not like the Ampro team. Like they don't have a rig out on the West Coast.
Dude, what was sick on the West Coast when I was out there was like seeing the Chaparral Kawasaki team.
Yeah,
I thought those were so dope.
Yeah,
like just how everything was set up, how the bikes looked. They were cool. Big fan.
I need to get out there. I say it all the time, but I need to get out there, see some races.
My buddy Matt hooking me up. We're gonna go out sometime. TBT.
Yeah, he said he was trying to watch live tonight.
Tell him, bud. Shoot me a text, bud. Say hi.
We got to find a way to get out there.
On a YZ250FX.
He might have been the one that was telling us about not having a Yamaha team now that I think about it. Last Yamaha team was Purvines, and they disbanded. Probably because all them Blue Crews out there, it was just too much. You know what I mean? They were winning all the races. They had a leg up on the competition. Probably was an effort behind the scenes to get the Yamaha band said, these bikes are too good. Get them out of here.
That is kind of crazy they don't have a factory-backed team, because I remember like 2010 when I first started going to nationals, like GNCCs, like all like the factory box trucks and everything. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. So it is kind of weird now going to a big race like that even whenever I was out there, like it's different. The team, it's not like a big Gncc. Like Gnccs like kind of spoil people like the fans whenever they see the big rigs and everything. But it's not all these national series are like that. But I do like seeing like the Chaparral Kawasaki team. Like that's probably a factory Kawasaki back team, I'm assuming. But Chaparral, gigantic, big old dealer.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Iron Pony is in Ohio. They have the Chaparral out west.
Are they related with Chaparral boats at all, or is it just completely different?
I don't know. Zero information. But I remember like old Moto Tees, like that's what like the videos were for GNCCs. There was Chaparral, like commercials for them, like old like Moto commercials and stuff. Had a lot of Chaparral stuff.
Well, weren't they a big supporter of Chad Reed and stuff too? Like I definitely recognize Chaparral, and like I've seen it all over the industry.
I don't know. I do know, like, I always heard about it, but I was never out west. And then when I went out west and seen it, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
A lot of box trucks out there.
And see, I mean, that's the thing, too. That's why I always talk about wanting to get out west, and that's just another example of it because my whole racing experience, like, the first race I ever did was Big Buck GNCC, and then the second race I ever did was Mid-East. Third race I ever did was Snowshoe. So it's like the GNCC side of things is just completely different world. Like, even the fact that, like, all the semis show up, like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a big deal, but everyone thinks it's a big deal that semis show up and they race out of semis at GNCC.
Yeah.
So it's like to go out there and see the West Coast, see how they do it, how they run things, how the setup is. Like, I want to go out there. I want to see it.
I see a lot more box trucks. Big fan of the box trucks.
Yeah.
Like, sick-ass painted up ones, like, even old, like, Honda Sport ones. I've seen a bunch of them out there. There's always been, like, a Suzuki one floating around on the internet that I've seen a couple times at some races.
Well, like, even, I know we talked about it on the last show, but the JCR Honda box truck that came out here.
Oh, yeah.
And they were racing out of that JCR Honda truck when it was Bollinger and stuff back in the day. And then, like, when I went to Vegas to Reno last year, the rally guys were all racing out of box trucks.
Yeah.
And box trucks with, like, Starlinks all over them and, like, big old tires on them running through the desert. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. Trying to get me one of them. Got an old Yamaha one lined up like we talked about.
Yeah.
Trying to get it scooped up. Oh, that was so sweet.
This
6 mile to gallon.
Where's that? It's up by the GNCC, right?
Yeah.
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 Get that thing dialed in.
Big Yamaha guy. Matt shot me a text.
So
Said
now,
to me in the chat. I haven't been able to pull the chat up because we got the results. You two need to get out here for a race. Donner in June would be sweet.
Yeah, I think they talked to me about that one. There's something going on that weekend for me, but either a Mid-East or a GNC. I think it's Snowshoe weekend, actually.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I know in July I got Vintage Days and I have the ADR National Enduro.
Yeah.
It's July 6th, I think.
So now, getting a little bit closer to home, the big event of the weekend, big hard enduro guys. Craig's a new big hard enduro guy. I wish I could have been at Battle of the Goats, man. It was the first hard enduro I ever raced. It's right down the road from us. Well, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. But all the big names were there. It was a U.S. hard enduro event, and it was right down the road. I wish I could have been there, but we were down there at the Mid-East Hare Scrambles. Craig, you raced it. We're going to hear some of your experience firsthand about how hard enduro really is. Last time I was at Battle of the Goats, Sipes, Letton Bickler, Tristan Hart, Cody Webb, all them dudes were saying that it was harder than Erzberg. They straight up said that, and they changed the course every year. I know the first year was like damn near impossible. I think only 1 or 2 people even made it around. And then the next year it was way too easy. And then the next year there was a hurricane. And then it seems like they have this time where they go back at the Brushy Mountain Motorsports group, Tyler and all them putting it together. It seems like it's like 1 year it's too hard, 1 year it's too easy. So it's like trying to find
the happy medium. Yeah.
A good raceable track.
Yeah.
But still a challenging track. So I don't know how it was this year, but a lot more people did laps. So I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
But Tristan Hart, who we mentioned, this is his second race back coming off of injury. We saw him on the podium at Grinding Stone when Yamaha got their first hard enduro win with Cody Webb. Now Tristan Hart, second race back, goes out there, grabs the win aboard his number 1 KTM. Ryder LeBlond ends up finishing in the number 2 spot. And from what I understand, it was a pretty tight race between those guys. Just a few seconds separating them at the finish, but that doesn't tell the whole story of how close they were throughout the race. And then our buddy, the local, Will Reardon, coming straight from the Oz Ranch, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Brushy Mountain on the Sure Taco machine, going out there and grabbing another podium on the season for him. Cody Webb in the number 4 spot aboard that Yamaha. See that Caleb Russell went out there, chopped it up a little bit with Cody Webb. That was the big off-season announcement. Caleb Russell returns to racing aboard a Yamaha, and then Cody Webb is going to switch over and take on the hard enduros on board a Yamaha. So the Blue Crew got together, got to hang out. Haven't watched Caleb's vlog yet. It's on the watch playlist at some point. And then rounding out your top 5, Joe Smith. Just kidding. His name's just about as easy as that. Kamakana Waiwaiole Kahalapuna rounds out your top 5 fastest riders out there at the Battle of the Goats. So now, since we weren't able to be boots on ground, we bring you the results. We talk you through it. A guy that was boots on the ground, Craig Oberholzer. We heard about your Arrive and Ride program, courtesy of Josh Toth, who, while he was out west in Utah doing the ticket to ride, Cody Webb and the Hawaiians took over his house.
Yeah.
And got set up and was working and living and racing out of the Toth compound up in Hickory. And then you got the benefit of a marketplace find bike from Josh Toth, went out there and got to experience it firsthand, and you got to experience a little bit of my reality. We talked about me getting caught on camera, looking like a goon by Tristan Hart, and now Craig Oberholzer sits there, gets some real intent. I like how intent you were. You were listening to the advice. You knew what he wanted to say, and you made about 7 feet before you ended up on your side.
Yeah.
Man, what happened?
Slid right out. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Kuio and Ryder Guest. Kuio Huddy and Ryder Guest. Those are Josh's buddies, the Hawaiians.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they all came over. They bought vans, and they'll fly over. They got their bikes, like some bikes here, and they'll do the races that way. So they'll fly back and forth. So I met those guys this weekend.
Thanks. So they got a whole East Coast setup.
Yeah. So I guess they bought them here. Tagged them, and now they I think one of the fellas is gonna rent one of Josh's bikes he has left over. Super cool guys. And I think it's super cool, like guys coming from Hawaii over here just to compete. I just think it's super cool. So shout out to those guys, super cool, and their whole family was with them. So
and doing the whole series and stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but just met them briefly, and Josh is good buddies with them, and they, just from what I know, it sounds like a cool deal.
Dude, I got my ukulele over here in the corner. We need to see if we can get the Hawaiians
They're here.
in here around the table.
Brother, they're local.
Hear their stories. Figure out how to say their names right.
Yeah. Yeah, so Saturday was see, first off, me and Eric Geese.
Like the bird.
He rode an 02 YZ250. Okay, he's had it forever. I guess he bought it for $900. He calls buddy Tommy Gardner, says, I need an 18-inch rear wheel and a gummy. He gets it. He brings it to the race. I knew he was racing, and Josh kept making a joke, I'm going to go on Marketplace, and I'm going to find something for you to ride. And I was like, dude, this is not going to go well. I was like, you got a 300 left over, right? Let me borrow that. It's prep for something else, for a buddy to ride. You don't need that one. I'll find you something. Just be there Saturday. So Friday night at 5 p.m., I get done working at my house, and he calls me, hey, head up here. I got something for you. And his neighbor bought a bike on Marketplace. Josh goes over, scoops it, buys it off his neighbor, and they're like, man, we started it. It seems to run good. It's got a PC silencer and a pipe guard. It's you. So, all right. So we go over. We swap some bars. Luckily, it had a tubeless system. It had a Shinko cheater. I'm not sure if that's a full gummy.
So it was already a hard enduro bike.
It was, yeah. I mean, and suspension-wise, all we did was raise the forks up a little bit and soften it up a little bit, surprisingly. So, it felt fine. Stuart Link let me borrow a long XCW stock silencer, so because it was, you get a new PC system or an FMF system, and the packing's too tight. It feels like you have to undo it and I don't know. You almost have to let it expand because it sounded like a straight pipe exhaust.
Yeah,
it was so loud. So, but Saturday, go out there, take off. I was last row in B class. That's what me and Eric didn't know if we should run A class, B class, because we didn't know. I'd never rode a hard enduro. I should have rode D class. Is the class I should have ran. But I got mid-pack for qualifying, and that was Chicken Fight Hill that Josh got the video of me at, and that was like the last obstacle before the enduro cross at the end.
How long was the loop for qualifying?
I think it was like 6 miles, but it was not as hard as Sunday. Like there was a couple things that were kind of difficult, but for the most part, it was pretty like it would have been like a hard hair scramble.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like a hard enduro. Like that makes sense. Watched Eric Geese eat shit in front of me. I was like, "You all right?" And he's laying on the ground, like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." So I come up to Chicken Fight Hill. Josh giving me this great pep talk, telling me how to do it. Hell yeah, buddy, you got it. And then I just slide right out like a goof. I'm sitting there smiling at him, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking post this, you piece of shit." So, and then I take 10 minutes to get up the hill. So, but there was like 15, 20 people in the left line, which is the better line.
Yeah.
So I go right, and I'm thinking about like cruising over left, and I'm not. I was just dying trying to get up the hill. So
That's a gnarly hill on a good day, like when there's not people littered all over it.
yeah. So 100% rider error. Like bike was fine, all me. So we got in. I don't know how exactly I did. I think I got like 10th out of 20 in the B class, and Eric came in right behind me. So we were, I think all you had to do was make the lap in the amount of time, and you were good for Sunday. I told Eric, I was like, dude, there's no way I'm racing that. That is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. And then Josh just kept, like, hounding me. He's like, dude, I got this bike for you. You're racing. And then Eric, like, kind of banged his leg up, so he didn't end up racing. But he showed up to help out and gave me some fuel and stuff because we didn't even show up with two-stroke gas.
Yeah. Well, I saw that he, like, destroyed his radiator and thought it was leaking, but then turns out it wasn't leaking. So it sounds like he just made the excuse of the radiator so he didn't have to race.
No, I thought he didn't know the radiator was busted.
Oh.
I thought that was what the deal was. But either way, I wouldn't have wanted to ride that bike. Like, I had a pretty solid bike to ride, and I can't imagine. There was a dude that was right in front of me the whole time on a 96 CR250.
Really?
I passed him in the enduro cross at the finish.
Dang.
So.
Was there any KDXs out there?
I seen 0 KDXs. I seen.
Usually you see at least 1 or 2.
Yeah. I seen like 3 or 4 YZ250s, other than Cody's, and 196 CR250, and then KTM Husky Gas Sherco, Reju Beta.
Yeah.
The normals.
A lot of betas at those things.
Yeah, a lot of betas. And then, dude, I lost sleep Saturday night because I thought I was going to have to jump that septic tank. And I was like, oh, God, dude, I've never jumped nothing like that. Like, I'm going to look like a goof. I'm going to fall off the back. And I thought, I know if I come up off that, there's a septic tank, you have to hop up and then jump right back down. You turn right. You either have to go like the chicken path or you have to hit it.
Yeah.
I was like, I know.
But the chicken path was still like a bunch of logs and tires. And
yeah, like it was, I guess, less, like, you didn't have to jump up a septic tank.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know if I come around
that
that corner.
Two septic tanks, like
septic
head-high
tanks.
septic tank.
And I was like, dude, I know if I come around that corner and Josh or somebody, Madison, all these guys are standing there like, hit it. Like, I'm going to have to hit it. And I, like, lost sleep over it. I was like, dude, I'm such a girl. But fish out of water, super cool experience. But Sunday, I thought I rode pretty decent other than I made it up Josh called it Chicken Shit Hill.
Yeah.
Chicken Fight.
I think it's Chicken Fight.
Chicken Fight Hill. And then after that was No Balls Creek. Brother, I look like an absolute goof. There was guys speaking Spanish to me, and I didn't even know what they were saying, but I knew they were just calling me a bitch.
Isn't that like the last section?
No, this was the first section this year. So as soon as you took off, you did the Enduro Cross, and then you did Chicken Fight, and then you did No Balls Creek.
The year, I don't know if it's the No Balls Creek or whatever, but the year that I did it, the very last thing was like this big old gnarly creek bed just full of boulders that you had to get through.
And it was kind of steep. At the end of it, you'd either go right and go up this steep hill and go up around, or go left. And it was just kind of messed up, and I fish out of water. 100% all my fault, but I kind of sucked. And if it wasn't for Brandon Peterson, I didn't even know it was him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like,
another friend of the program.
Another friend of the program. I was like, I don't know. We just got this bike like 2 nights ago, and here I am. He goes, that's a stupid idea. But he helped me get up. And
what was he on?
A Gas 300. And so I get all the way up the hill. He goes, hey, I'll help you. You help me. And I get all the way to the top of the hill, and then I walk back down. And I think he was mad. Yeah, I think he thought I left him because it was like 5 minutes after I got up the hill. I finally waddled my fat ass down there. But helped him get up, and yeah, so I think I did pretty good on everything after No Balls Creek. But I thought that I was going to have to do another lap.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like creeping. Like not creeping that I wanted to like not finish, but creeping that I was like trying to save myself a little bit, like drinking all my water.
Yeah.
And then I got done, which I got to the top of No Balls, and Josh and Eric were up there like, we've been waiting on you all day. Where you been? Like, be a man. Man up. Only women, America's breeding women like you. Quit being a little bitch. So I get to the top of the hill. He gives me a little pep talk, and he's like, you got to do one more lap. Well, by the time I got to the very end, like there was a couple gnarly sections left. I think I was out there for like 2 hours, 15 minutes. And I got to the Endurocross, went through it, checkered flag. I was like, holy shit, I just finished a race with one lap. So, nothing much to talk about. Not the best hard enduro rider ever. Not good at all, I would say. But it was cool to do it, for sure.
So, dude, we do all like the Brown Mountain trips, and we go out and ride some stuff, and it's like, I like to think I'm a technical rider. And then you go to something like that, and it's like, dude,
Real technical
how
riders.
do these guys do this?
Yeah. Like, and
so-
obviously, if we went with, like, if we all had 300s or 250s, which was, I was on a 250, and we all had the tubeless system and the gummy tires, and we did it a lot, I think you'd be better at it. I would have been better. But, kind of off the couch doing it. But either way, those guys who I was riding with, much better at it than I was.
Yeah.
So it was cool watching some guys pass me and the stuff they were doing. And there was like a 55, 60-year-old man that was just sitting there pivot turning up No Balls in front of me. And I was like, I'm such a bitch.
Dang.
This guy's just shitting on me.
So when I did it, first of all, I was on a KDX, which didn't help. But then I had the gnarly tire, which it's a gummy, but it's got big knobs. And I found out after the fact that's not what you want.
Was it what was it? Kenda?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kenda.
Ibex.
Ibex. I had
See, I think that Shinko I had wasn't a full gummy. It was like a soft compound, like super soft.
Yeah.
But it's not like a AT81 has a gummy. Like there's a couple like a 90 N91 or something stupid like that. I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But so you could like almost feel the knobs like flexing. So like instead, especially the clay spots, instead of like digging into it and getting traction, it would kind of like fold the knob, or it didn't work as well as I thought. But then I think it is the gnarly that has the shorter knobs. It works better.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of different gummy tires. Like IRC has a few options, and Dunlop has some options, and Michelin, they all have them. But back then, I'm pretty sure like the Ibex was one of the first ones.
Yeah, but Ibex was the one everyone was running like snowshoe, or they were going to Mountaineer run and they would run it.
Yeah.
And even now, guys, at snowshoe this year, we'll have swap a rear wheel in the pit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like Toast 2 years ago, when he was on that, was it the 300 he was on? When he, like, the whole tire, the side knobbies, everything was just destroyed, and he couldn't make it up the hill no more. He ripped all the knobbies off.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do a
That's how
wheel
all of
swap.
them. Did you see Strang's tire at the end of Tennessee?
Uh-uh.
He ran a gummy at Tennessee. And same thing, that thing didn't have a knob left on it. It had some side knobs, but it was just like a carcass. Yeah. And he said it was still hooking up everywhere.
That's how, whenever we go to Brown, if Josh has a gummy, it'll have no tread on it. He's like, oh, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just like being on the highway.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
But, yeah. And then so that year, too, for the qualifying thing, after I caused the bottleneck in the Endurocross, less than half of the people that signed up for that race completed a lap. And somehow I made a lap. But then the next day, when the main race started, for whatever reason, man, I don't know if it was going through the Endurocross section first, or like after you got through that, we kind of raced a little bit hard, like faster trails, and then got this big ditch, like a big ditch that you had to get across. But by the time I did the Endurocross track, kind of raced that next section, got to that ditch, got through it, like my heart rate spiked. It was like 180s, and then it just wouldn't come down. Like, that's never happened to me before. But in that race, like, I just blew up at the beginning, and I could never get my heart rate under control.
That's how I felt in the creek. Like, I was like, dude, if I get out of here, I am going to the truck. I got to the top, and Josh was sitting there like, dude, don't be a bitch. And I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. Well, so usually in, like, a hare scramble, I run, like, mid-170s for an average over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever. And but then it kind of tapers back off, or, like, if you back off of it, your heart rate cools down. Well, for whatever reason, man, my heart rate wouldn't come back down. So, like, no matter what I did, it wouldn't come back down. And then so I'd try to do something that was, like, kind of simple, but then my heart would be, like, beating out of my chest. And I couldn't, like, for whatever reason, I blew up that day, and I could never get it back maintained to like a normal riding level. Any little thing I did just spiked it right back up.
Yeah.
So it kind of made it tough. So I ended up pulling out because one of those hills, just like a long, rocky hill climb, pretty much. Got to that thing, and like it was hot. I think we did it in August that year. So it was hot,
bitch,
no
dude,
wind.
That would suck.
And I got to the point where like I was obviously pouring sweat, overexhausted, but then all of a sudden just got freezing cold.
Yeah.
Like freezing cold, got the body chills, and like it just went over me from like started in my forehead, felt it all the way down to my toes.
Heat exhaustion.
Yeah. And me being a safety guy, that was like the first thing I thought about was like, this is not good. So I ended up just pulling off from there and like rode the road back out. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, once my body went cold, I was like, this I probably should get out of here.
I'm not saying I would never do it again. Like I have said that like 20 times now, so I guess I am saying that.
Yeah.
But if I did it, and that bike I was on was excellent. It's 2015 250 XCW. Like it's
PDS.
It's still got the key and carb on it, which I like those bikes. I have a 2013 now, 250 SX. I didn't need a 300. Like that bike itself, the electric start worked great. I could ride one of those and do it. I just would want, a little more. I like to go to Brown a couple days before I go. You know what I'm saying?
Do some pre-ride.
But still, those guys who are much better than me, and like watching them is crazy. Yeah. Even at the pro race when we went up and watched. I watched the first section. Excuse me. Watched the Duracross. Everybody splattering on the septic tanks that I was scared of. By the time I make it up to the top of, I guess right after Chicken Fight Hill for the pro race, there's another section that was gnarly. Like, I would say that's less than a mile in for sure, like half a mile in.
Yeah.
I got up there as soon as Tristan, Will, and Ryder were going through, and they were lapping. There's people everywhere. There was 95 people in this. It was like a sweeping right. I don't really know how to explain it because there's so many people you couldn't even tell what the obstacle was other than a fucked up hill. So they were lapping. They were throwing their bikes to the to one side and throwing it to the other and falling down the hill. And I would have loved to see right off the bat like what the obstacle looked like with just the first like 10 guys hitting it. 'Cause I'm sure they went up it and probably made it look easy or manageable for sure. But dude, once like some guys who once 2 or 3 people make a mistake, just like any other kind of racing, it's a pile up and then it's a freaking mess.
Well, it's not just like any other type of racing because those obstacles are designed for you to not get up. So there's only like 1 or 2 lines that is even relatively possible anyway. Yeah. So then you got guys clogging those lines, and then you got to try to find a way around. It gets bad quick.
Yeah. But they said nobody had any issues on the Winslow's Waterfall, and someone told me that they seen a clip of Cody Webb going up No Balls Creek like he was on a Sunday cruise, like not even dabbing his feet, which made me melt a little bit. I was like, what a piece of shit.
Was that the one? So I saw some drone footage from Ian Howes.
Yeah.
Like the POV drone, like following some guys. Was that No Balls Creek?
See, I haven't seen the video. But it was just, dude, it was just a big ravine and all rocks up in between it. And it was just like, for me, it was like pivot turn, like try to splatter up some rocks, pivot turn, like waterfall. I don't know. I know I was mad the entire time.
Section, yeah.
I know I was real mad the entire time, and I felt like a jackass.
Yeah.
And there was, like, I was waiting on people, too. Like, we had traffic, but people were waiting on me, and I was like, dude, I suck at this.
Yeah.
Like, I felt real goofy real quick.
So, did you get a chance to watch, like, the pro guys, like the top guys? Did you get to watch any of the race, or were you still, I guess you were in that race. So, you just saw them when they were going by you?
No,
Did
so
they
I
ever
was,
come by you?
No, I rode the beat. So, I rode the morning race at 9 a.m.
Oh, so it was separate races?
Separate races.
Okay.
So, I didn't have the option to go up the waterfall, not that I wanted it. And whatever the section was right after Chicken Fight Hill that I was just speaking about that had like so much traffic on it, we didn't have to hit that. We had to hit a line right to the left of that, I believe. But it wasn't the exact same. Like, I don't think it was as hard because what they had going right there was pretty messed up.
Yeah. Dude,
I did watch some racing.
I've seen some people eat it on that Wenzel's waterfall thing or whatever.
I've watched people eat. Yeah,
I've watched some people slide all the way down it. Like one dude slid down it, like ended up breaking his wrist. Like got almost to the top, laid it down, and then just slide and can't catch yourself.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah,
especially when you're sliding and you're not sitting on your butt facing the direction. You're just sliding. You're just waiting to hit something to stop it. Yeah, dude, fuck that.
Yeah, that
But
doesn't look like fun.
It is gnarly. Like, I remember 3/4 the way through the lap, like I kind of started to get a little more comfortable. You know what I mean? Slipping and not trying to ride it like a jackass, like a hair scramble, and just dump the clutch and be stupid.
Yeah.
And there were some spots that, like some waterfall sections we were going through that were not like as bad as Winsel's, not as like steep. And it is super cool to like. You feel accomplished when you do some things. Like you look at it and like you come around a corner and there'll be a big hill, and you get halfway up it and you start looking ahead and you're like, oh crap, there's a 4-foot ledge I gotta hit.
Yeah.
You try to splatter up it. I've never splattered anything, and I'm sure it didn't look like it, but I got up over it and I was like, oh dude, let's go.
Yeah.
In the next section, like I'd pass a couple guys and I'd feel like good about it. But it is a super cool, like it's kind of hard to not appreciate it. Like if you've ever watched it and like it's never gives you justice watching it.
No.
You got to try it.
Yeah. So like I've Battle of Goats, like I took photos of. Like I wish I had some pictures or some videos to show. For those that don't know, Wenzel's water slide, it's literally like basically like as slick as your garage floor, but at a 45-degree angle with water coming down it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're riding up.
Which they say that's like go where the water's at because that's where the traction is. That's what everyone says. Which doesn't make sense to me, but that's what everyone says.
I guess because there's not really. I was gonna say because there's no moss growing where water's running, but there's not really moss off to the side of it. Yeah. But then there's also like a pretty big puddle right at the bottom of it that you kind of got to awkwardly go through to get started. So it's not like you can even get a good run up at it. And then the other thing too is everyone that got on the gas, they're the ones that spun out and didn't make it up and fell back down. Like everyone that got up, it was just.
You really gotta use your torque at the bottom and snap it at the bottom, and then just kind of idle up it.
Yeah. As soon as you pop the clutch once and it spins, there's no catching it.
Yeah. I was super happy to not get hurt because there was a lot of times I was like doing stuff and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go off the side here and like screw up this bike. Like we're selling that bike, and I cannot believe that bike looks perfect. Yeah. I didn't dent the exhaust. I didn't do anything. It makes no sense to me because I felt like I did. But we swapped the bars and everything, like the stuff we had laying around, and we put new bars on it and grips, and I didn't do any of these things. Josh literally bought the bike, prepped it, took it home, prepped it again, and then now it's prepped again, sitting there ready to sell.
Got the full effort in.
So
he's not selling it back to the neighbor? The neighbor didn't want it?
No. I think I don't know what the deal is. I think the neighbor was just like, hey, you give me my money for it, just pay me out of that or whatever. Oh. I don't know. But if anyone wants a 2015 250 XCW,
yeah,
Norm.
25 plus ridden.
25 plus ridden.
Barely raced.
Raced once, actually.
Yeah. Hit him up for it. Speaking of getting hurt, forgot to talk about this with the Mideast hair scrambles. Got some T's and P's to send out to our good buddy, friend of the program, Bradley Chapman. He's been on the show quite a bit. If you've been to any local races or any of the local GNCCs around here, you've seen his van with the Stellar sticker on the side. Got into the lead of the 4-stroke Open A class and didn't even crash. Ended up slipping a foot off of the peg. Peg catches back of his leg, puts it into the ground. Tib-fib, broken. So he stayed in Greenville Sunday night, got surgery Monday morning, and I think he's actually might still be in the hospital now. If not, he got home just a little bit ago. But, yeah, big T's and P's out to Bradley Chapman. Obviously went through compounded tib-fib and then broke tib-fib again a year later. So not a fun injury. So be thinking of Bradley Chapman, T's and P's out to him. And then also, good time to let you guys know that this program is brought to you in part by another guy who loves to ride a steel frame YZ250, and that is our good buddy Zach Tussle at Raymond James Financial. Zach is a racer and a financial advisor, helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. Whether you are already retired, need advice for income during retirement, or you're trying to save for retirement, build some money, get some compounding interest. You put in a little bit now, you'll have a lot when you're ready to get to it. Hit up Zach Tussle, TussleInvestments.com. Let him know you listen to OTP, get a free consultation, talk to you absolutely free, tell you exactly what it is that he does, how he does it, and how it can help you and benefit you. Now's the perfect time to get started. So hit up Tussle, Zach Tussle, Tussle Investments. Yeah, and then shop RMATV MC. If you go to our social media pages or in the description of this very YouTube video, I guess I should put that link in the podcast things too. So hopefully, if you're
You
listening
should.
to
I
this,
tried to buy some the other day and I couldn't. I meant to text you about that.
Oh.
I was trying to find it. So
dang. It's pretty much everywhere else. It's in our Instagram bio and it's in our YouTube descriptions of all of our videos. And I'll try to put it out in the podcast thing. I don't know if links work, like in Apple Podcasts and Spotify and stuff. So if you're listening to this right now, try to click it, see what happens. But anyway, you shop Rocky Mountain just like you shop any other time, and we get a small commission from that goes directly towards the program and towards the riders. We sponsored a rider this year. We got an XC1 Pro rider, Lyndon Snodgrass, on and on the pipe-backed Husqvarna machine. But got some other stuff that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to give back. My whole thing from the very beginning, I've been very transparent about it. My only goal for starting this was to put a spotlight on off-road riders, to build the interest and the viewership in off-road, and ultimately get more money for these off-road riders. So now that OTP is making a little bit of money, trying to give it back the best that we can. So every little bit helps, and that is something that directly helps the program. And you just shop like normal. Don't jack up your prices in order to pay me. Don't do anything like that. Same prices, same website. You just use the link. It puts a cookie in your browser. Anything you buy, we get a small commission from it. Greatly helps the program, and we greatly appreciate it. But yeah, bummer for Bradley to go out there, compound his tib-fib. But in that afternoon race, I know we talked about it briefly and then got sidetracked. So one of the things you mentioned, like seeing these guys do it in person. At TKO, the Kendall waterfall up there is literally a rock the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. Like, it's a giant boulder of a rock that, like, if you told me to go parkour up it and climb up it, I'd have to, like, look at it for a minute and be like, how do I get up this thing?
yeah.
And these dudes are doing it lap after lap like nothing. Just, like, splatter, up, pivot, turn, up, and over. What were some of the things that, like, you saw the pro guys doing that they made look easy, where you were like, I'm glad I didn't have to do that?
Well, the first thing is like on Sunday, the first thing you did was dead engine start, right turn, enduro cross. Saturday, I looked like there's like 3 videos of me like trying to negotiate myself through the short part of the enduro cross section, just a couple logs. I put a video of Max Dupree trying to triple right out of the corner.
Yeah, the big crash that you saw in the enduro cross
on the Suron. Like for me, the first day, Saturday, was a little slick. I was negotiating myself through there, just trying to not slide out. Crashed 3 times in the first section, like felt like an ass hat. Well, Will triple, wheel tap, tripled into the next one. Like he whole shotted. Like it was from the first turn to turning into the second like row of obstacles, maybe 5 seconds. And it took me probably 35. So
it's crazy.
Just super good setup, super good. They've been doing it. They know how to do it. It's just talent is all it is.
Yeah.
And then I watched them splatter up the septic tanks that I was talking about, and they just did it like they weren't even thinking about it. Like I seen Cody Webb,
like all in a row too, like back to back.
There was 3 side by side hitting it off the start, and everyone was like, "Dude, that is gnarly." Like. It was
no part of that.
Cody, Will, I think Ryder, just all at once. And it was just sick. Other than that, dude, those guys got to be in killer shape, because I know how like spiked I was and how like that stuff makes you more tired than anything. It's kind of like how everyone says wrestling's the hardest sport. People say motocross, wrestling.
Yeah.
You ever tried to fight somebody back whenever you are dog ass tired? Like get done with a 3-hour race and try to fist fight somebody?
Quite a few times, yeah.
Yeah. Well. That's how
not fist fighting someone after a race.
Imagine
but
trying to put like your effort like after the hardest physical thing you can think of. Like for me, getting caught in that creek and then like pushing myself out, that is the most exhausted I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
So those guys, I'm sure, are feeling the same way, but they're still hitting all these obstacles and stuff using like the right technique and stuff. So
yeah,
I guess just physical fitness and us keeping the technique. It's just gnarly.
See, the big difference there is when you're that exhausted, there's no one standing there throwing rocks at you in an MMA fight. I have felt like that and have been getting punches still thrown at me, and that's a pretty helpless feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And some of these races too, like we talk about a 3-hour Gncc, some of these hard enduros 6, 7, 8 hours long.
Yeah.
By the time they get done with them.
Yeah, I know a lot of them, they can be longer than 3 hour time span. Like,
I want to see some heart rate data from like the top guys, because I wonder too. Like, obviously, like with the technique makes it, I would think, less stress, less strain on your body. Just like you mentioned, like him going triple wheel tap, like less movements, getting through it quicker. So like I wonder if those guys are actually running like in the 120, 130s and just being smooth and dealing with the technique versus like bulldogging through it.
Yeah, but then again, was it the grindstone that Cody won?
Yeah.
So whenever Cody passed Tristan at the very end, like I'm sure, like he was down, he was trying to get up. Like I'm sure, dude, he was so high then. And then whenever Tristan got past Ryder, I'm assuming it was the last lap or like towards the end of the race, because I was there at the midpoint and Ryder was ahead by a few minutes.
Yeah.
I know it was a 15-second lead at the end of the race is what Tristan got Ryder by. I bet, dude, they were ripping. So I'd say there was nothing technique-wise. It didn't matter. Like heart rates were high.
Yeah.
And just in those kind of elements, like it's for me how I rode it and how. There were some times where I was actually super trying, like when it wasn't hard and it felt like a Brushy Mountain hair scramble. I was pushing it, and then I get into the tight stuff, and someone would be down in front of me, and I'd be mad, and how could I be mad at them because I'm about to do the same shit? I'm about to fall too.
Yeah. Well, you just fall before you get to the hill.
I did that. I definitely did that. So I don't know. Either way, it's that was the most impressive thing is just seeing like how those guys were still negotiating like the hills and stuff and keeping the technique and kind of keeping themselves cool. It sounded like I heard Will yell out a couple words one time, but it was he needed to. People were just standing there staring at him with their bikes, and he's like, "Get out of the way, dude! What do you mean? Move!"
Yeah.
But I think those like the lappers do a pretty good job of getting the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
So or Tristan or Ryder or somebody would just throw their bike and say, "Oh."
Well, I think those dudes have a lot more of an understanding too, because you get like vet dudes in a hair scramble. Like, I climbed a hill before. I can get up that hill. I think some of them hard enduro guys are like the amateur side of it. It's like, all right, we know where we stand in this whole thing.
I did see a lot of guys as soon as they're like, "Hey, Tristan's coming," and they kind of tried to make a. But some guys were like so tired already, and they were a mile in, and a lot of people didn't make a lap. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like I know Max Dupree made a lap. Even after that wreck, he got up. Like everyone was like, "Oh, call the ambulance. He's gonna be hurt." And I got a full video of it. He's like, "Hold on, give me a minute. And he finally got his breath back, pulled his bike back, and took off and was ripping. So he made a lap on the Sur-Ron.
I wonder how it is on the Sur-Ron. Wonder if it's easier or harder. I guess it has to be easier, right?
Well, he had a post and it said, so
lighter,
I don't know the settings.
Torque.
I've never spent much time on them.
Yeah.
But I guess he would start at the bottom and he would change the setting halfway up. I just seen a post. You guys can go to his Instagram and check that out because he has a couple videos. But he said it was kind of difficult, changing settings mid obstacle.
Yeah.
But he had to do it. So I don't know. I seen some Starks out there too, but I wouldn't have wanted to be on the Stark.
No. Well, the thing
clutch.
about a Stark,
You want a clutch.
The Stark is just as heavy as a bike, or heavier than a bike. Like the Sur-Ron, I feel like your biggest thing is the weight, and you don't have the rotating mass. So when you're trying to move it around, but I mean, Starks are 245 pounds, 250 pounds.
Yeah,
those Sur-Rons got to be under 200, I would imagine.
Yeah, so I agree. I'm just thinking the no clutch thing. I've spent a little bit of time on a Stark. I'm going to ride the one this weekend.
Yeah.
And just in my mind, not having a clutch to do some of these obstacles would be, if you get used to it though. I've seen Josh ride one and he liked it.
Do you need a clutch when you have the instant torque? Because you clutch it up to be able to get it moving quick. Like you want to get the revs up, dump the clutch so you have instant power. The electric bikes have instant power all the time.
Well, you don't always just want the instant power. Sometimes you want to slip the clutch just like on the motocross start. You don't just dump the clutch and get the instant power. You want it to grab. You know what I mean? So you slip the clutch when you're on a motocross whole shot.
I don't know. I guess I don't know.
It's
I
weird.
haven't spent much time on them either, but just the way my brain works, I feel like since that torque is just there and readily available, you can slip the clutch without having a clutch because you can control exactly how much power you're putting down.
So whenever I rode one last time, I took it up to Chris McManus's and was riding. That was the video of me flopping it and being a dumbass on it.
Yeah.
There was a sweeping right coming down a hill, and then there was side diagonal routes. On a normal bike, I'd compress the front, clutch and just kind of pop over it, kind of bunny hop over it.
Yeah.
And I tried it a couple times on the Stark, and I just didn't do it right. Rider error. I'm sure Josh or somebody else could have done it and been just fine. But it would for me, it would take some getting used to. I'm sure those guys have some time on the Starks. I'm sure Max had time on the Suron. But I don't know if it was a plus or a minus.
Yeah.
But I know for me, just how my experience on them, I would love to have a clutch for doing that stuff. Like on a 250 XCW, I used a clutch all day long.
Yeah.
So
they have those like the trials bikes that are electric that have like a clutch. It's effectively a clutch, but it's really like a actuator for the electric motor.
Yeah.
So it's not a clutch in the sense of it's not doing the same thing to the motor, but it reacts to you the same way as a clutch. I wonder if they've ever experienced or messed around with putting those on like a Stark or a Suron or whatever. Because for me, I haven't had a ton of time. I've only ridden a Stark once, and that was on the power lines beyond Palmer Motorsports. I rode theirs around like in shorts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the Altas, I put a good bit of time on Altas because they did a demo of the full gas, so I got to ride one a good bit and got to ride a couple other ones. And the craziest thing for me about the electric bikes is you can feel or you can hear yourself breaking traction before you would feel it on a bike.
Yeah.
Like when you're accelerating out of a turn or coming into a turn, I would hear the tire breaking loose before you ever even feel it. So you can kind of like adjust it by then. But then also, like I said, like there's no input lag. Like you don't press the throttle and then wait for a second and then it goes. Like it's there. Anytime you need it, it's just there.
Yeah. I think the thing they kind of promote on those two is if you have like the brake on the, like if you have kind of like mountain bike controls as far as the brakes, you can keep your technique. You can have your toes pointed in. You never have to move your feet for any reason, any situation. You have no clutch, so that's less things to think about. All you need to worry about is where you're putting the bike. Don't
have to worry about right-handers. You still got a rear brake.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing they like. So I mean, as far as them like wanting to add an actuator, I don't know how. I would like to have one, but then again, you see a video of Ken Roxon whenever he was trying them out. He was riding 12 o'clock super slow on them, and I was like, fuck you. Like, that is gnarly. Because, I've rode one on 80, I've rode one on 12 horsepower.
Yeah.
And they're different.
I never cranked it all the way up.
Dude.
But, like, for me, dude, even, like, for woods, like, 30 or 35, I feel like is all you need.
When Josh rode that J-Day on that one, 35.
Really?
The whole time.
At a J-Day?
At a J-Day.
See, that surprises me.
Well, see, this weekend I'm wanting to race one at Powerline. And there's a guy on YouTube. I think he's done all of them in Open E except Florida. And someone in Florida, though, I talked to Jared Bolton today because I was like, hey, man, can I bring two? Like, if I talk to Todd Palmer and let me take his, have two red ones. Like, I want to ride, but I don't want to stop for 15 minutes and charge it, but I can't ride for 2 hours on 30.
Yeah. Well, where's that Open E class start?
With the women. Women B, I believe.
So, like, towards the back?
Middle. Yeah, right smack in the middle. But I don't, so, like, for me.
Because I was going to say, if it starts towards the end, probably get lapped anyway.
Well, yeah, you'll get lapped, but, I mean, I don't think I'd get lapped. If I started in the middle, I don't think I'd get lapped. But if I stop for 10 minutes, I'll get lapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the top three girls are definitely faster than me. But I don't know. That was the conversation I wanted to have. Like, I didn't know if there's an Open E class. The races are 2 hours long. The bike on 40% or 40 horsepower, I think it might last an hour and 10 minutes. So
that's it?
With me, I'm 210 pounds right now. Like, yeah. Josh has lasted 30 minutes on 35 with Toth on it. And, I mean, he's a lot faster than me, but he's a lot smoother than me, too. So if I'm going to run it on 30 or 35 or 40, it's definitely not going to make it that long. So I thought, I think the guy had kind of a breakdown on how he did it on his YouTube channel. And he did 2 laps, came in, charged it for 15, and then it died in the last corner, and he shoved it across the line.
That's crazy.
So
the stop and charge.
That was, well, I mean, so if you're just racing the guys in your class.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way for me to race the guys in Sportsman A and have a chance. Not that I'm going to beat everybody anyway on any bike. But, if you have to stop and charge the bike, well, you're out. You're last. Because those guys in Sportsman A are local pro guys, local AA that are going out there just to kill everybody.
Yeah.
They don't care. All the guys are in points paying classes. They don't give a shit. They do not care. Same as Sportsman B. But I'm racing the guys in Open E, right? And I would like to think that I could do good in that class just for fun. It's all for fun anyway, but that's a national points paying class. I just want to ride a Stark, say, I did it. I'm going to do it once. I don't want to get beat because I had the wrong strategy with a pit. And I thought, man, maybe we could just take 2. They're both red. Why can't I take both of them? And I was like, Jared, what's the rules on 2 of them? He's like, absolutely not. I was like, fuck. Okay.
You should have known that.
Well, yeah, but I mean.
But if you're not racing the whole series, just do it. Get disqualified. Screw it.
I know. I've never won a Gncc.
You'd win, but then they'd take it from you.
Yeah, they'd take
Especially now that you said it on here.
I know. I think Matt McCormick's going to race his too. He's like, dude, we can battle. We can do this, that, and the other. And I was like, no, we can't because I'm bringing 2.
So there's been guys at Mid-East that finish a 2-hour race on a Stark. And one of the old Stark reps, Jason Smith, would race some of the Mid-Easts. And he said that his would get almost to the end.
Yeah.
And then give out.
He's from Asheville, right?
Yeah.
I met him this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Super cool guy.
Good dude.
Good dude.
But yeah, I don't think he ever finished one, but he would race a lot of Mid-East on it. But there have been people that did run. So, I wonder if you could run it at 20 and make it last. Because you got to think, even if you're not going as fast as what you would like to be riding or a normal race pace, when old buddy has to stop for 15 minutes, you're still going to pass him.
Yeah, but I wonder if
you're
I
not
could
going
go
to be
out
15 minutes slower.
I wonder if I could go out for 2 laps on 40, ride hard, and at the end of the second lap, I can look and see, okay, well, Joe Schmo's 4 minutes behind me. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to stop. What if I go ahead and stop for 15, and hopefully he stops at the end of that lap, and I can last, or I can charge for 4 minutes longer than he can because I'm going to pass him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think if I just had, Eric Geese, he'll be there, and he's not riding, he says. He's helping Josh. So if I have him just watching the results and seeing the other guys in the class, you're not saying I'm going to, come across winning. But if I just pay attention to the guys in the class and where they're at and how long they're charging for, maybe it could work. Let's just say I'm winning on the end of the last lap. And the last lap prior, I was 8 minutes ahead of the person. Well, I can go ahead and come in and guarantee myself 8 minutes of charge. Go ahead and charge it for 8 minutes. Give me 10%.
Yeah.
And then just let my nuts hang on the last lap and just try to get it to the finish.
Just keep your charger within sight of the finish line and charge it till you see that guy coming. And then unplug it
that's
and go.
What the fuck I'm talking about, dude. Team tactics are back in GNCCs. OTP is going to make it happen. We don't care about Team Joe Schmo. We are going to absolutely use everything against them.
So
Park right at the finish line.
The biggest key that I would want to look at is the regenerative braking. Because, I drive an electric car, like the Tesla.
Yeah.
The regen braking is, a real thing. So the regen braking on a Stark, you can turn it all the way up, you can turn it all the way off. If you turn it all the way up, you're regenerating a little bit of electric through it. But if you turn it all the way off, then it's less rolling friction.
Yeah.
So you're not using more battery because you can coast more.
See, okay.
So I wonder which one works out better in the long run.
Bolton texted me and said, I learned something from a guy on a Stark in Florida. If you run it between 40 and 60 horsepower, brake as little as possible, try to keep it smooth, it could last. There's no way 40 horsepower with me for 2 hours is going to last.
That's what I'm saying, dude. If you run it in 25.
I know, and maybe I could do that, but I rode it and I'm going to ride it maybe tomorrow. What's tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday? I'm going to ride it before this weekend. And dude, I'm not going to say I'm going to go do a 2-hour moto, but I'm going to do an hour ride it.
I could make a Stark last 2 hours and do just about as good as I would do on any other bike. I used to, my 2019 YZ250F, dude, I had a stock tank on it, and I would be one of the last people to not get lapped. So I'd do a 2.5 hour race.
Yeah.
And I never ran out of gas once, and I never fueled on a stock tank.
Yeah. I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. I want to ride it at McManus's Thursday. And he's got the setup for NCHSA this weekend is at Chris McManus's. Is at the
oh really?
It's the Proving Grounds.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Excellent track. Everyone who is local that wants to go ride some local racing this weekend, or if you're not local, come travel down here and you don't want to go to the GNCC.
I went there for Dustin Simpson's championship. That was the last round.
Yeah, Morganton, North Carolina. He just sent me some snaps. His caption was "looking creamy," and it did look creamy. It looked excellent. He has a double section through the woods.
I was gonna say I want to come ride, but I can't ride Thursday. Thursday's Mindy's birthday. Shout out, happy birthday!
Shout out, Mindy. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out team tactics, trying to, not saying that guy might smoke my ass. I don't know who he is. I don't know how good he does.
So
that is what I want to do.
The
I want to
regen,
finish the
the
race.
regen is going to be the key because one, if you turn it up a little bit, it's going to regenerate some stuff, and you never have to touch the brakes because it's going to brake for you going into a turn. But I would almost think that the way to go is to turn it off and then just carry speed.
Okay,
and have
so
it
that's
free
what he
rolling.
meant. Don't use the brakes. Let it regen. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm a dumbass. I read that incorrectly.
Yeah, like my car, I'll drive from here to Powerline Park and never touch my brake pedal.
Yeah.
The car regen and the motor stops.
Does it show you how much power it saved you? Does it ever show you that?
Yeah.
Is it
So
substantial?
on the car, I'm pretty sure it's the same on the Starks, but there's like a meter. So when it goes up, I'm in the power, and when it goes down into the green, I'm regen braking. So like I'll be cruising at 80, going down a hill on the interstate, and my regen's going like all the way down, and I'm kind of feathering the throttle to keep it there rather than letting it all the way off and coasting. You just kind of feather it, which I'm pretty sure the Starks have a similar thing to it. But yeah, so like for instance, my car leaving Snowshoe, I can't charge my car up fully on the top of Snowshoe because it'll overload it coming down. So like last year when I left Snowshoe, I forget what the exact numbers are, but just for reference, let's say I left there with 180 miles of battery. I drove 36 miles, and I had 19 additional miles, so I had 199 miles of battery. So I drove 36 miles, but I had 19 miles more of battery from the regenerative braking going down the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I want one real bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy one, though.
Yeah. I always thought, but I mean, kind of the same thing too. Like I'm a woods guy, obviously. So then you start getting into that, and like you got to be able to make 2 hours. Like it's one thing to go out to like moto practice days. You're gonna be fine on a Stark.
Yeah,
because moto practice days suck.
Yeah.
You go out for 15 minutes, and you have to wait 45 minutes before you go back out.
Yeah.
You'll never run out of battery.
Just sit it on the charger and run your generator.
Yeah.
Your eco-friendly generator.
If you're racing a moto and you got 8 hours in between your motos, it can sit there and charge the whole time. But woods racing, when you show up, pay less money, and get 8 times the time on your bike, you got to go for 2 hours. It's got to last for 2 hours.
Do you know how much money I spent to ride that hard enduro this weekend?
How much?
I had to pay $15 each day to get in.
For what?
Just to get into the
That's
event.
the gate fee they charge per day?
$15 per day.
Huh.
She made sure to let me know that she just works here. She don't ask me questions. It's okay. Nice lady. 180 to race it.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't realize that.
I think it was 180 or 167, something like that. It was over $150 to die. So, but I think there was only 9 of those races. So
maybe I'm not a hard enduro guy.
Yeah, it's expensive. And honestly, whatever. Not sit here and just talk shit about how much expensive stuff is because it's an expensive sport, and if that's how much it takes to keep shit going, whatever. I do it for fun.
And I mean, there's a lot that
goes
goes into it, but still.
I brought $110 cash with me, and I had to go hit up Eric Geese for $60. I was like, brother, you freaking broke ass. I didn't bring gas, so that's my bad. But I shouldn't even mention anything, but I was kind of inconvenienced. But it was cool.
Yeah. And the U.S. hard enduro dudes are super cool. Like I see them out all the races. They were at Tennessee. Got to chat with them a little bit at the Gncc. So yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna make it out to some more. I'll probably definitely be at TKO. But I don't know. I gotta check schedules and see what else that we can get to in between now and then.
Yeah, I'm jobless, so let's do it.
We gotta figure out some cool travel plans.
Yeah,
some races to hit. ISDE in Italia.
Yeah, I ain't gonna make that one, but
I think I'll be there. That's the plan. I've always wanted to.
Dude, no freaking way. Matt, my man. Holy shit. My buddy Matt Chamberlain just sent me a care package for the weekend to race a Stark this weekend. Matthew, love you, mean it, dude. We're going racing.
So let's talk about Gncc. Powerline Park this weekend. Going up to ride it. I'll be up there. Not sure when I'm getting there yet. I got some other things on the docket. Gotta take care of. But storylines coming in the weekend. Now, Ben Kelly knocked off 2 in a row, going up to Powerline Park. Does he keep the win streak going? Or do we see a new winner? Do we see a 5th winner for the season?
Well, it's cool, too, because we're going up north now. So maybe different guys will ride a little bit better. This is a super hard pack track. As I remember, I haven't raced it in a couple years. I do think this is the Ben Kelly, the healthy Ben Kelly, the one we were seeing at the end of 2000. Was it 22 when he won his championship? 23. I'm a dumbass. Which one was
21.
it? 21.
21.
No, 22 because I was
21 when he won, 22 when he went 6-0. Because he won the year after Caleb retired. Caleb retired
you're
in
right.
2020.
You're right. Yeah, my bad. It's a healthy Ben Kelly. And every time I've seen him ride here lately, it's been a couple months since I've rode around him. Looks good, strong, healthy, and that's what it takes to keep the wheels on. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to win the rest of them, but he looked like him coming from kind of mid-pack, midway through the race in Tennessee, and then winning. I thought was super dope.
Yeah,
that was Ben Kelly of a couple
coming
years
from
ago.
the back twice.
Yeah, so I didn't watch the whole race. I think I was at work, so I was just like watching like as much as I could. And midway through the race, I was like, "Damn, Ben's 6th or 7th overall, whatever he was." Then I got the text when Josh got hurt, and then I was like, "Well, kind of over it." And then I seen the results, and I was like, "Dude, no way!"
Yeah.
So that's super sick. I'd like to see Johnny G back. I don't know what the status is on him, but I'm hoping he gets to come back to race this weekend. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that BK is going to go do a sweep or anything like that, but if everyone's healthy, it's going to be good racing.
Yeah, I think the level of talent is so high that definitely not saying he'll sweep the rest of the season, but I do think we're at a point now where it's kind of his championship to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the points leader, 113 points. The next closest XC1 guy is Caleb Russell with 77. So that's, 35 points?
Yeah.
That's more than a race lead that he has right now.
Yeah.
And then it comes back the same thing. Like if Grant Davis is the closest to him, just 9 points off in second place, but that overall championship, I think, goes to an XC1 guy. So we'll see what happens if Grant Davis is able to get the overall points and what they do with the championship. But the way the rules are written, I don't think that Grant
I didn't bring that up last time, I didn't think, but I wanted to. So a couple years ago, when Craig won overall points, right?
Yeah.
Stu won XC1 points.
Yep.
And Craig won overall. And that is the big number 1 plate. That's what everyone wants. But somehow, we did the math, but I don't exactly remember everything about it. So I wondered how that would work if Grant won overall points and BK or whoever won XC1.
Yeah. So we've talked about it on the program, and I think in that scenario, I think in my personal opinion is I think it would end up just being a free-for-all, and they would kind of make it up at that point and figure out what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Because the way that the rules are written right now is that XC1 points will operate off of overall points, and XC2 points will operate off of class points.
Yeah.
So if they say that there are no XC1 points and XC1 is determined based off of the overall, if they gave the overall championship to Grant Davis as well as the XC2 championship, there would be no XC1 champion.
Yeah.
And I think that would be kind of weird to have your premier series without a champion.
So,
but I also think it would be kind of weird for your overall champion or your XC1 champion to be second place overall.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
And Gncc can, do it either way. But, if Grant Davis wins the overall points, then we all know he is the overall winner. Like, he should get the number 1 plate, which he get the number 1 plate for XC2. And, I mean...
But he'll be moving up.
Yeah. I'm sure, he'll be moving up. If he wraps it up early, he'll be there next year anyway. Like, I'm sure... I don't know how his points are exactly. I haven't looked at it. But he would be probably moving up Penton. Maybe the round after Penton.
Talking about when he can wrap up XC2?
Yeah.
So in the XC2 points, he's up 138 to 113. So Grant Davis, 138 points. Gus Reardon, 113 points. Grant clicks off 4 XC2 wins in a row. Same thing. That's a 35-point lead, 25-point lead in XC2. And then Cody is right there with Gus. They're only 5 points apart. So I want to see if I can pulling up the rules right here to see if we can.
Yeah, see, Digital Off-Road put in if XC2 rider wins overall championship, they need to overhaul the rules in class.
So it used to be that it was separate. Like there was an XC1 championship, there was an XC2 championship, and there was an overall championship. And it was always the XC1 guy that got the XC1 championship and the overall championship.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, when they changed the rules to specifically say that XC1 will be scored off of overall points and XC2 will be scored off of class points, that's when it now becomes super weird. Because that year that you're talking about, and I know I've mentioned it on the show a million times, but it's still worth mentioning every time, Craig DeLong had the most overall points, but Stu Baylor had the most class points. Craig DeLong was the XC1 champion, even though Stu had more XC1 points, but then directly under them in XC2, Liam Draper was the XC2 championship with more class points, but who was it?
Lesser.
Was it Lyndon? No.
No, Lyndon.
Why am I drawing a blank right now? Was it Gus? It was Gus. Gus had more overall points. Gus was higher. Gus finished higher in overall points than Liam Draper did, but Liam Draper was the champion.
Yeah.
So
and
it's like
this is
the same rule being flipped on its head in back-to-back pro classes just makes it weird.
Yeah. I mean, I get the reason for overall points because it's, you want your amateurs to get their national numbers. You want to see guys getting, like JoJo would probably get like a 12th overall in points. I'm not sure what he is right now. But overall points at the same time, like once you get down to it, it kind of sucks. Kind of sucks that there's that overlap between, XC1, XC2 class winners and then overall, especially now that XC2 guys are doing so well in the overall.
Yeah.
So it sucks, but 3 years ago, it didn't suck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because nobody was getting overall wins.
It wasn't like this, yeah.
Yeah. I remember whenever Lyndon and was it Johnny at Coker, maybe? They got second and third overall at Coker one year from XC2.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, dude, no way. That's like unheard of. Like, that's never going to happen again. They just had a, lucky day or whatever. Then here we are.
And then Big Buck XC2 was 1, 2, and 3. The whole podium.
Yeah. So everyone can argue that we need to do, one big pro class, but, whatever. But at the same time, like Cody Barnes and, Mike Witkowski was in XC2 for quite a few years, from like 2012 to 2022, right? Like maybe he was in there from 14 to 22, because he got in there young. I think we were like 17, 18.
Yeah,
but
he was in there a while.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could also argue that you should only be able to be in XC2 for so many years.
Yeah.
Or you could say the age out thing, but they've done that and swapped it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Grant's 18, right? 19?
Something like that. 19 maybe?
And
18,
I mean, you can't kick him out of XC2 because he's young. What are you going to do? Get mad at him because he's
even
super
when
good
there
at
was an
being young?
age limit, there was still the whole 2 championships in 4 years or 2 championships in 5 years, whatever it was.
I don't know.
But that's if you won 2 championships.
Yeah.
And
there wasn't many people who did it.
No. And the age thing's kind of weird because someone like Dustin Simpson.
Yeah.
He's 33, works a full-time job, still fast. Why shouldn't he be able to go out and race XC2?
Yeah.
He works 60 hours a week. Why should he have to line up for XC1? So that was the weird part about the age thing. Trevor Barrett, like there's a million guys you could think of as examples like that. Cody Barnes would be aged out of XC2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. 'Cause he's probably 26 now, huh? Or 20.
No,
yeah.
I think he's 24, 25. I think this is the first year he's not eligible for the junior trophy team. But to that point, I think it should be like a point out system. Like I think you should accumulate points, kind of like motocross and supercross, where once you accumulate X amount of points, you got to move up. Like I don't think it should be age based. I think it should be longevity and skill based. But I mean, we also are at a time where there's more XC1 riders than XC2 riders, or close, which is good. Step in the right direction. But, all right, rules, national class championships. All pro classes will be recognized as separate national class championships. Class championships will be determined by the racer's best finish at the following number of events. Blah, blah, blah. XC2 gets 2 drops. WXC gets 2 drops. For the XC1 class ranking shall be consistent with the overall national ranking exclusive of racers in other classes. So there we go. For XC1 class ranking shall be consistent with overall national ranking exclusive of racers in other classes. So that means, based off of that ruling, is that if Grant or an XC2 rider won the overall points, there's no overall championship.
Yeah.
There's an XC1 championship, XC2 championship. That's the way that the rules are written. So if Grant somehow was able to get it done and have the most overall points and be the overall champion, he would not be the overall champion. He would be the XC2 champion that finished higher in the overall than the XC1 champion.
But we would all know.
But we would all know. But, like, you would have to, like, I'm a big stickler. Rules is the rules. Follow them. You put them out there. They're black and white. Follow them. If that was to happen, I think we need to make an overall championship and give it to Grant if he's able to get it
do you
done.
remember Mid-East maybe 2 or 3 years ago? I think Rivers Morris
last
won.
Year.
Was it
well, the year before last, yeah.
Rivers Morris won from
B class.
B class.
Yeah.
He was
the
overall pro champion from B class. And I remember he came across the line and they had like confetti and shit they wanted to throw and they wouldn't let him do it because they were like, we got to figure it out. But he was the overall pro champion.
No, they still did it. And I brought him up on the podium and interviewed him and declared him the overall champion.
Well, as soon as he came over the line, they tried to do it. There was a couple guys that came over like, wait on it.
That's untrue.
I was standing there. I'm just letting you know.
I was standing there.
I don't know. That's just what I remember watching.
I'm the only person that gets involved in those things, so I don't know who else there would be standing there telling them
I don't
not
know.
to do
Apparently
it.
they were.
It might have been his parents. His parents were kind of weary of doing it. They just wanted to make sure that their math was right. They didn't want to celebrate it and end up being wrong and looking like an asshole. But I did the math personally on that like a million times that week, and then we also did the math again sitting there. But I know Bjorn was a little apprehensive about it, just trying to figure out what was going on and what all it entailed. But, yeah, I ended up bringing him up on the podium and saying that he was the champion.
That's crazy.
Overall champ from B class.
So who won pro class that year?
Probably Brody.
He had to miss a couple for
it might have been Delosa. So Delosa won the overall the year before, but I guess it had to have been Brody. I don't know. Brody won the overall last year.
They had to miss a couple of them because they were running national enduros at the time, I think.
Yeah.
So they missed 2 or 3 Mid-East, but they still had enough pro points to win pro class.
Yeah. Let's check up with some of the results. Caleb mentioning they found some better settings with factory connection, maybe Top Step in Ohio.
Isn't his ankle hurt? Is that not what he said in his vlog?
I'll leave that one.
Or his knee?
His knee has been hurt.
Yeah.
Getting it drained and stuff all the time. I think that's why he ended up not racing. Colby Goodman, appreciate the kind words. Any chance you being with Yamaha now, we can get some Mid-East contingency? No problem, Colby Goodman. Shout out to you. Great race this past week. The last few races, several races actually. But, yeah, the only person staying on the lead lap that won a pro rider, beating the AA riders. Pretty sick ride. Yamaha contingency. I have reached out to my sources about that. I worked in it in the offseason before I even had the Yamaha deal to try to sort the whole thing out. There is a waiting list for it, but now that I'm Team Blue Crew, hopefully we can kind of put a bug in someone. Especially when you look at rider participation, like Mid-East has to be the second or third largest series in the country by participation.
Yeah, a lot of Yamahas.
Yeah, well, a lot of Yamahas, but a lot of people, a lot of prestige. Like, it means something to win a Mid-East, I feel like. You look at the top Mid-East guys and what they're doing on the national level.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are coming from Mid-East. And there's a lot of people. So I'm hoping that somehow, some way, we can get Yamaha contingency at Mid-East. But, yeah, something that's being addressed and worked on. Is XC2 rider won the overall championship? They need to overhaul the rules and classes. I think so. That's how it was before. Like I said, before there was an overall championship, XC1, XC2 championship. I don't know why they went away from that. I guess because they thought they'd never be in this situation where an XC2 guy could win it, and it was redundant handing out 2 number 1 plates. That would just be my thought process on that. I'm all for an age limit on XC2. Should be able to funnel to XC1. See, I don't agree with that, man. There's too many outlying circumstances where I think the 24-year-old age limit just doesn't make sense for XC2. It's not an age class. It's a pro displacement class. I could see the reasoning for the age. I personally just don't agree with it. It was cool to see the first time XC2 rider overall, but the more it happens, something needs to change. I think everyone's kind of at that point, and then it's also, I think I mentioned it briefly after the last race, but it's interesting now that Grant expects to win. Like before, Toth was the first one to do it, and it was like, holy crap, someone did it. Then Grant did it. It's like twice in the same season. This is crazy. Then Grant did it again. And you're like, oh, well, now Grant's done it twice. But now it's like when he came off the track this past weekend, he basically said, that was my race. I let it go. And then he went up on the podium and said, I got to stop letting Ben beat me. I got to make sure I beat him. And Grant, like, until there's been 2 races this year where he pretty much had it locked up and makes a mistake late on in the race in Tennessee and was it Camp Coker? No, Talladega.
Yeah.
Talladega.
I thought he won Talladega.
Stu did.
That was the video that you had of him getting stuck.
Yeah.
He lost 15 seconds in the hole.
He lost more than that there, but then at the 8-mile marker in the field, he fell, and that's where Stu got by him. And then Stu just had to go. But Grant's bike was also messing up from the water and stuff, so he didn't have full power. So, yeah, Talladega and Tennessee, he had the overall win, like, in grasp and just barely got away from him and still finished second overall in both races. So it's like that could be 2 more overall wins. And like I said, now I don't think that Grant, and I'm not speaking for him because I haven't even talked to him. I talked to his dad a lot, but I haven't talked to Grant, I don't think, at all this year. But just based off the things that he says publicly, and like I said, not speaking for him and not taking a shot at XC2, I don't think that Grant is lining up on Sundays with the intention of winning XC2.
Yeah, that's good. I guess the way you got to be. I mean,
yeah,
especially if you've already overalled and beat XC1. What,
like,
three or 4
he
times?
seemed,
I don't know
he
how many
seemed,
it's been now.
He seemed pissed to get his 4th straight XC2 win because he was second overall.
Yeah,
and I think that's just the Grant Davis that we have now.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to end up with the most points in the overall at the end of this season. But to that point, Ben Kelly is a freaking unit, dude.
Yeah. Healthy Ben Kelly, that's good.
That's a big, strong, fast son of a gun.
Yeah.
And now, first person to win 2 races this year, sitting good in the overall points. He'll have the white plate. And I also like his race recaps on Instagram. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. I like it. I like him.
I'm curious this weekend, too, because I know I've been to Powerline. It's been a couple years since I've been, like I said, but I wonder what the weather is going to be. I haven't checked it yet. I'm really hoping it's not going to be nasty muddy because I like to see a couple dry races, and especially up there, John Penton, Powerline, whenever it's wet, it's greasy slick. People hate being in Ohio when it's muddy, apparently.
It's me. I'm people.
Yeah, I'm not.
And last year, there was no service. There was nowhere to plug my damn car in. I had to drive into Morgantown. Was it? No, it wasn't. Couldn't have been Morgantown.
Yeah, that's right on the PA Ohio line, and then Morgantown's probably not too far. It's like an hour and a half away. That's St. Clairsville, Ohio.
I had to drive and charge and go back. But anyway, and I think last year was where the Northern Lights were. You could see them from Powerline. I think that's where all the Northern Lights shots came from, which was pretty cool.
Everyone talks bad about Ohio being muddy, and then there's the Grassman National Enduro. I think 2 or 3 years ago now. 2 years ago, I guess there was just a nasty monsoon. I wasn't there. But I had some buddies like from Jackson, Ohio that went, like buddies that hadn't raced in 3 or 4 years. They show up and like my buddy Chase, he blew up or something happened, ran out of gas. That's what it was. Ran out of gas, DNF'd. And they said it was just like the wildest storm you ever seen in your life. Like the Andersons, they were in their van and they said, dude, we can't move. Like the hail is going to just destroy our windshield. My buddy Chase was just out there under like a bush trying to hide from it. And a truck came by and he's like waving his arm. They're like, dude, what are you doing out here? And he's like 4 miles away from like at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And he was like 3 hours late. Like he should have been done 3 hours prior. Dang. He was one of the front rows. And he just stuck out in the monsoon for like 3 hours. And he's like, dude, I'm so cold. I'm going to die out here. The bike won't run. They just throw the bike in the back of the truck. And I don't know. Just thinking about Ohio mud races. I hope it's not one.
Dude, I've seen someone get towed from the Penton downhill. They were stuck in the mud downhill.
Yeah.
Down like where gravity takes you. They couldn't do that.
I've
They
had
to
that
get
happen to
pulled
me.
going down.
And
I hate that place.
It gets so muddy, and then your bike sits there for 20 minutes and it freezes.
Yeah.
Like I've had the wheel freeze up on an XR80, running like District 11 races back in the day. They'd start racing in March. Sometimes in Ohio, it's still cold as shit in March.
Yeah.
And front wheel
Most
locked
times.
up. Guy's out there with a butane torch from his toolbox trying to heat my front wheel up to get the move. Fucked.
Powerline Park back in the day, I got ran over. Fell over in a rut, got ran over by two people, had a nice little Dunlop MX-32 print going up my back. Penton ran into Jeff Russell's four-wheeler, broke 3 ribs.
I broke a wrist there.
I don't have good luck in Ohio.
Yeah. I guess I don't either.
Like Ohio.
I like my buddies from Ohio. I don't
I
like
like
Ohio
all.
itself.
I haven't met somebody from Ohio that I don't like,
Appreciate that.
but from the state, get bit.
Yeah. Dude, I guess, saying that I like going up to Ohio racing because my buddies are up there and it's like a good place to be. Like I did good at the National Enduro last year.
Yeah.
And it was cool doing well in Ohio for the first time because I know there was a couple years I blew up a bike. I went to Penton in Sportsman B. Me and my buddy Nate Pinkerton were going back and forth. Smacked the tree, broke my wrist, concussion, all fucked up. And then Grassman the next year, Berg Holes National Enduro. String of bad luck, and then I did good at the National Enduro last year. I have had, I rode good at Penton 2 years ago in Sportsman A, but I do like going up there because it's a hometown. Like a lot of my friends go.
Yeah.
They'll go to Powerline. They'll go to Ironman too because it's a big party scene in John Penton. But I do like the dirt. I still catch myself down here, kind of, I don't know. If I go up to Ohio and just ride with my buddies, I feel like it's at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I've lived here for 10 years now. It's been 10 years. I moved here right after high school in 2015. It still feels like home going back to Ohio and riding.
Yeah.
So I like that part of it, but I don't like cleaning bikes up after it, but I still like going up for an Ohio mud race every once in a while.
I can see that.
My bearings don't love it.
Home is where you make it, first of all. Second of all,
Actually, home is naked.
just sucks that your home is a shithole.
Easy.
No offense.
Easy, brother. Easy, brother. I'll tell Gary.
I'll be blaring some Andy Brandon music on the way to Ohio. He's got that song about Ohio. It's a good song. I wish I could play it on here, but I'll get a YouTube strike. But to the point of the overall points, Ben Kelly out in front, Grant Davis in the number 2 spot. Gus Reardon doing everything he can to dethrone Grant Davis. The number 4 rider overall is Caleb Russell on the 557, the most accomplished rider in GNCC history. 8 straight championships, more overall wins than anybody on the bike side. And he might have figured it out. He's done some suspension testing. Seems like he got it tuned back in. He's still dealing with some knee problems, dealing with some nagging injuries, but he's coming off a second-place finish, 3rd place overall at Tennessee.
Yeah.
So he's got some confidence. He's got some more time on the bike. Might have a suspension setting dialed out. Might be on factory connection suspension. Getting that dialed in and working right for him. And now, like I said, he is the closest XC1 competitor to Ben Kelly. He's got to take out the shovel and do some digging, but he is the next person in line. Then after that is Cody Barnes, 5th place overall, 6th place Liam Draper. So that puts Liam 3rd in line for the XC1 points. 77 points for Caleb, 66 points for his teammate Liam Draper. Stu Baylor would be the 4th place XC1 rider because remember, we read the rules. It is XC1 points are determined by the overall less other class riders. So the next one in line, Stu Baylor. He's got a win this year. He's got 3 throwaways this year. Not the way you want to start your season.
No.
Going to have to do some rallying to make up those points. 63 points for him, so just 3 points back from Liam Draper. Mike Wachowski, who we've seen had really good rides, look really strong this year, and just have some bad luck along the way. Craig DeLong, we've seen him on overall podium. He's 9th place. And then Nick DeFeo still rounds out the top 10 fastest riders, even with 3 pretty much throwaway rounds of his own. So we talked to him. He called into the show. I don't remember if you were here for that one or not, after Big Buck, where he kind of mentioned that coming into the season, he was maybe thinking some like top 5s midway through the year. Well, then he comes out and wins the overall by 3.5 minutes at Big Buck, and now I think anything less than that, he kind of gets bummed himself. Like I think he got 4th at Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, in XC2, 4th or 5th, maybe 6th.
Well, that's the shitty part because
somewhere in there.
I think Florida and Talladega he was up front.
Yeah.
But having some issues with the bikes. But I think both the 250F boys, Toth and Tefeo, having some issues with the bikes, just trying to get some stuff. I think it was mapping issues, whatever it was. But anyway, the bikes kind of shit him twice.
Yeah.
And hopefully they got everything good for the rest of the year. And speed is still there. I mean, I've heard some guys say, maybe some guys who just seen results, are like, oh, yeah, he did good at Big Buck, but then he's kind of shit the bed. He has not. You know, I think he would have had maybe 2 more wins or at least another win, I believe, for sure at Talladega.
He would have had the overall at Talladega.
Yeah, ripping, dude. So, yeah, just a couple things to work out, a couple, cobwebs, and I think for sure, top guy again. I think he can run right with Grant. Yeah. Well, you say stuff like that because Grant has been so consistent at running up front, but still, I mean, Toth, Cody Barnes was looking good this weekend. I think I'd mentioned that to you or last weekend. I was like, dude, Cody looked real good. Live stream, the lap times, he looked super good. So Grant is, obviously ahead in points by quite a bit, but guys are still right on his heels as far as when they're racing. He looks good.
There's still a lot of racing to do.
Yeah.
And, I mean, once again, I know I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face on the show, but from first place to third place is 9 points. And if anything outside that third place, there's a lot of room to make up. So things can change quickly. Like just because there are these big gaps, like in the overall you don't have any drops, but XC2, does XC2 have drops?
I would assume not.
They do not.
And it's going north now. So it'd be interested to see some of the guys, they kind of, come out of their shell a little bit.
But, I mean, that's what I mean.
Results.
Like, Nick DeFeo gets a win. Grant has bike problems and ends up 8th place. I mean, I don't have the table in front of me right here, but that's probably 15, 16, 17, 18 points.
Yeah.
Like, something like that can shake up everything.
Yeah.
So, this thing is far from being over. There's still a lot of racing left to do.
Yeah. And Cody and DeFeo are from up north. So.
Yeah. But that's what I was bringing up about Nick is that his last post after Tennessee was, like, kind of bummed and, like, down on himself. And I even commented on it. It's like, dude, like, chill out. You still got it. But going into the season, he told us that he didn't expect to be a top 5 or competing for podiums till halfway through the year. So it's like now when you're getting the top 5 and you're pissed off because you came out and lit the world on fire at round 1 and then ran up front at other subsequent races, like knowing that you have the speed, like it's got to be frustrating. Yeah. But then at the same time, like this is his first year.
Yeah.
And he knows he's got it. So it's same thing with Gus. Like Gus, when he came over into XC2, the first time I ever met him, he was 16 years old. Met him at Lake Norman Brewery. Josh Strang. Strang introduced us to him. And him and Will. I was like, oh, there was full gas. It was like, oh, you're racing the full gas this weekend. He's like, yeah, I'd like to go out there and try. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. What class you racing, little fella? I didn't say little fella, but he was 16. And he's like, oh, I'm a race pro too. And I was like,
holy shit.
Oh, so you're fast. He's like, oh, I'm all right. He goes out there and smokes everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the same night, I think it was talking to Drew Calloway and Cody Smith. Drew used to have a turn track over in Iron Station, and Tyler Palmer was out there then. And like we all met those boys about the same time. And I said, how fast are those Australians? They said, dude, they fucking left us on our track.
Yeah.
And Drew Calloway rips on turn tracks, moto, woods, whatever. And so does Tyler Palmer, obviously. And I was like, those little fuckers are that fast?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's like, dude, I was talking to him. I was like, dude, Gus Reardon's about to take part and take over.
Yeah.
And same thing, dude. Like, had some really good races. Obviously, super fast.
And Will's killer fast in the woods, too. He rides the hard enduro and enduro cross more.
Yeah. He came and raced some full gases and stuff back in the day.
But, dude, if he showed up and wanted to run Open A, this is a hot take. Sorry, some of the guys. If Will showed up and ran Open A, he'd win Open A.
On a Sherco?
Maybe. Sure, talker. Will would win Open A, and he could be a contender in XC2 if he wanted to be.
You think he'd be a contender in XC2?
I think he'd be a top 5 guy every weekend.
Dang.
Dude, he freaking rips.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't go out there and ride motos that I know of. Like, he, focuses on his craft.
Yeah.
But if he had a full moto Sherco, and he wanted to go out and ride full gases with the guys or whatever, yeah, he's fucking killer fast.
Yeah.
He rode Florida last year, 2 years ago in Sportsman A, and was just cruising, and he smoked everybody's ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could for sure, be a top 5 guy.
They're funny as hell, too. Maybe we'll see Will come over and do some Gncc. And
yeah, I'd like to see it. Maybe not on that Share Taco, but Share Taco about it.
But, yeah, I mean, Gus is a dude that can win any weekend. Cody Barnes, the way he's been riding, dude, he can win. I think Cody Barnes is ready to be on a 450.
I heard that, too.
By the sounds of it.
Yeah, I heard.
I think he's done with the small bore.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he moves up next year.
7'6". I'd say he'd want one, too.
Yeah, that's very true. But, yeah. Should be an interesting weekend, to say the least.
Tyler Brown says, hot take, do you guys think Stu will ever win an XC1 championship before he retires? By God, we all hope so. I think he definitely can. Last 5 years, he's been super close, so hopefully.
Yeah.
I think he absolutely can.
Ashley
and
Lund,
hope he does.
Ashley Lund says, forecast is looking like it. I'm assuming that's going to be rain. Ashley Lund came out. I think she did double duty this weekend. Maybe raced both days. She raced Mid-East with us. Ohio in the rain. Doesn't sound fun. But Tyler Brown, to your point, I don't think that's a hot take because it's not really a take, it's a question. But
be nice.
Stu has been a guy that has said he would trade 3 or 4 National Enduro Championships for that GNCC championship. And that is the elusive championship that everyone is chasing. And it sucks because he's been so close, dude. Like, there was 2 years where it came down to the wire and he was in the mix, and both of those years he either missed rounds or had throwaway rounds at the beginning of the season. Like the year with Bennett, I'm pretty sure that's the year that he slipped his back open at Sumter and had to sit out Big Buck.
Yeah.
And then the year before
he
that
wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. But the year before that with Caleb was when he got bit by an alligator and had to sit out Florida. But then that's why, like, it seems like every year after those first couple rounds, it's like, hey, man, you've been in worse situations than this. Like, you can still get it done.
Yeah.
But now, like, looking at it, we're 5 rounds in, and the gap is 63 to 113. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It can be made up, but it is a lot. And so to that point, like, will Stu Baylor win an XC1 championship? He is absolutely capable. He is absolutely fast enough. And he's proven that time and time again. And he's been a competitor. He's been a championship contender pretty much every year.
Every year.
But the one thing that I would say, like, going into that is how many more attempts is that?
Yeah.
How many more years do we have of Stu Baylor? Stu Baylor has been open about wanting to retire early. And when you see a lot of riders want to retire, it's like, man, what else are you going to do? Like, you've raced your whole life. What now? Stu Baylor is part owner of a training facility. He is part owner of a national race series. He is part owner of a factory Kawasaki race team. He's got a ton of other doors to walk into. If he went away from racing, he's good.
And he's more busy. And, that's the thing. A lot of these guys, their full-time job is racing dirt bikes. They work 3 hours a weekend. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're putting all the work in during the week, too. Like, it's a full-time job. He's got 3 full-time jobs. So, he will not be bored at all.
But to that point, just like with any sport, I feel like the main thing that professional athletes are chasing is that sport that they've been competing at, that competition, that everything that comes along with it. And so when you look at, when they think about retiring, it's like, it's hard for Andrew DeLong to walk away from the sport and then go drive concrete trucks or drive semi-trucks, wherever he's doing now. But it's like Stu has 3 different avenues that keep him with these people, keep him in the industry, keep him around the only thing that he's known his entire life. And it's also a business that he's building. So it's like, when you start looking at, like, you talk about bad knees, he's got 2 of them.
Yeah.
You start talking about bad wrists, he's got, he did the grip strength tester, didn't even get to 100 on his right hand. Like, he's got these injuries. He broke his neck. He he's been through all this stuff. And when you look at the success of these other areas, like as a professional athlete with 2 young kids, it's like I feel like that would sway you farther in the direction of let's move on.
And as soon as he's done, Levi's going to be racing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing, Thad. Thad's towards the end of his career, still racing.
Yeah.
And his boy is fast as shit.
Killing it.
So, I mean, as quick as that guy would like to just go straight to the woods and just hunt, get a job, whatever he's going to do, he's at the races every weekend. He can't do nothing about it because his boy rips.
Yeah.
And, he's got the bug bite, and he's probably the fastest short kid I've ever seen on a motorcycle in my life.
Who?
Jacoby.
Oh, I didn't know
he was
Thad or Jacoby.
No, sorry. He was what was it,
say all the fast dudes on motorcycles are short.
I don't know how old he is now.
James Stewart,
7,
Caleb
6?
Russell,
is 7
Ricky
or
Carmichael,
6?
Jeremy Martin. No, I don't even think he's that old.
That's what I'm saying. When he first got on a Cobra, he was like 5 or 4, like some stupid young age.
Dude,
and
he was like
he was
3 or 4
standing up.
riding Thad's 450 or 350 around the yard. Dude, couldn't even reach the pegs, like riding it like a chopper.
That kid is gnarly. I remember seeing him. He wasn't even riding the dirt bike yet. Like he was like maybe 3, and he had a Stasic, and he had like a figure 8 track made right by the coastal rig at the time.
Yeah,
and like flat tracking. And I was like, dude, this kid is way faster than I am right now, and he is like 2 feet tall.
It is crazy how good he is.
It's ridiculous.
And how well he's adapted to it, like Maverick Strang races and Crew Russell is getting really fast.
Yeah.
Like Crew came out and overall the micro race a couple rounds ago at Mid-East, and dude, he was ripping.
Yeah.
And then he fouled a plug on a 65 on the start line of the youth race, and they changed it. So he started like 2.5, 3 minutes late, running top 20 lap times in the youth race, and like worked his way back up into the lead of his class against the kid that had been winning the micro overalls. So, like, not a slow kid.
Yeah.
Ryder Baritska is the kid's name. And Crew worked his way all the way back up into the lead from being like 2.5, 3 minutes down. So, like, I think a big part of the kids is, like, getting the aggression to want to, like, be mad at the motorcycle and ride it. And I think Jacoby has that already.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
And so it's just, like, finding it for all. Yeah, it's crazy. For the age and the size, the ability, Jacoby's killing it.
Yeah, dude was like standing up as high as he can, maybe an inch under his ass to the seat. Like if he hits any jump and there's any kind of adjustment he needs to make in the air, it's not happening.
Yeah,
but I thought it was super cool. Like it's every dad's dream.
Yeah.
Like me thinking about having a kid one day is him being stupid fast on Cobras immediately.
Yeah,
like let's go.
Well, it's like I'd have to like really sit down and think about it when I've ever seen a post of Jacoby that wasn't a win.
Yeah.
Like, when has the kid ever not won?
Yeah. That kid needs to go to, like, moto for a little bit. Like, I think that'd be sick. Because he has a motocross track in his backyard. He rips on it. He's young. I don't know if he's old enough to run. I'm probably 100% wrong because he's already riding Cobras and GNCCs, but I don't know if he's on a senior already. I think he's on the bigger bike. I could be way wrong, though. Just from looking at it, it looks like a bigger bike. Maybe it's just because he's not super big. But I think it'd be cool to see him ride moto. I'm sure he does. I think he does some indoor stuff. I've seen the Thad post. But I remember when I was younger, everyone said to get your kid fast, they got to ride moto to get the corner speed. That kid already has corner speed. Like, he doesn't need any more for woods, it seems like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see him ride some moto and see how he does. Do some qualifiers, go to Loretta's.
Yeah.
I think that's a dream for kids.
Dude, that's so much money, though.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know what the situation is with them, but you'd think, I remember whenever I was young, like Tyler McSwain was he a factory Bellini rider? Like some of these kids get deals on bikes.
Yeah.
Like some actual deals.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and now this is more prevalent. Jacoby's got his own vlog.
Yeah.
He's got an Instagram.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe he could get a deal, get some support. That
you remember how much
help.
money they said AC was making on 65s and 85s? Like an absolutely absurd amount. I'm not even going to say the number because I'm 100% I'm wrong. But like he was making like more than his dad was on 85s.
That's crazy.
Like stupid money. That's sick.
It's out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any kids on 85s at GNCC's making that money.
No.
So maybe moto's the move.
Yeah. And people argue
They were
that,
hanging out with AP in
Yeah.
the AP pits.
and people argue that moto is so much more like dangerous than woods. A lot of the guys who ride moto say that woods is more dangerous than moto. You know what I'm saying? So I think, moto for kids is a good starting point until you, just like AP, he rode woods. I'm sure he was riding moto, went to moto, came back to woods, and he was stupid fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he was winning championships on super minis, but then he went to moto full time, then he come back to woods briefly, and then he went right back to moto.
I don't know if it's any more dangerous, but I think it's kind of like a numbers game. Like you have a lot more seat time and a lot more opportunity to hit a tree than you do to misjump a jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think either way, like I know buddy Brandon Ratliff got hurt at Top Gun. And I heard a lot of people say, like just friends of ours, like, man, that motocross stuff's, it's dangerous. It is, but dirt bikes are dangerous.
Yeah.
But I get in my car going home and get hurt. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. That's like my grandma telling me, the airplanes you're flying, those things are dangerous. And I'm like, they're not as dangerous as your car that I'm driving every day. You know what I mean? So I just look at things like that. Like I think, moto, is dangerous. Woods racing is dangerous. Hill climb's dangerous. Hard enduro is dangerous. It's all dangerous. I don't think any one is more, but it's a lot more high intensity riding moto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, mixed emotions about it, but I would like to see, sum it up, Jacoby ride moto. I think that'd be sick because I think he rips.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll see. Good time to get started because he is ripping right now.
Yeah.
With that being said, think we got anything else to cover?
No. Oh, I do want to thank Matt TBT in NorCal for hooking me up for the weekend. So shout out Matt. We met him last week, two weekends ago. He was over here whenever they borrowed a bike to go to the sprint.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Sick.
Other than that, I'm good.
OTP support for Craig. Yeah, I think that about covers it. Powerline Park this coming weekend. We'll see you guys next. Are you available on Monday?
Yeah, I ain't got a
Monday
job.
or Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday?
I don't know why I'm checking my phone.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll be here Monday.
Either way, next week we'll be back with another episode to let you know all about the racing action going down at Powerline Park. Craig, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking some time out to come and hang out and be a part of the program.
Yeah.
And good luck this weekend. We'll see you up there in Powerline Park, and we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.
Yep. See you.